preview time. So let's take a look at what's coming your way.
The Jeff Meacham Network's Multiverse of Media. For over 15 years, the recognized symbol of excellence and the standard bearer in coverage of sports and entertainment.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome to this very special presentation here across the Jeff Meacham Network Multiverse of Media. I am your host, the Renegade J.J. Williams, and joining me here this afternoon, first and foremost, the man who stayed up till like 3 o'clock in the morning last night to help me out with the crazy coverage here post night one of the WWE Draft. The simple man with the spectacular voice, my cohort in virtually everything WWE across the multiverse of media here. Noah Foster, welcome, sir.
Hello once again, JJ, and once again, chat. Good to see you.
And then also joining us here this afternoon, because he's not off in Hollywood getting involved in all kinds of crazy hashtag shenanigans, the man whose name is on the building because we're taking over.
Damn it.
The West Coast professor, Jeff Meacham.
Hey.
I have taken my Hollywood earnings and bought Titan Tower. Go fuck yourself, Vince. Anyway, there you go. That's right.
Right in here with it. So
that's right.
We're here once again this afternoon. We're going to provide some more coverage here for the continuing WWE Draft.
Right.
Last night, Noah and I ran through the first round picks, if you will.
Yes.
That were executed on SmackDown. For those of you that may have missed it, we're just going to very quickly go image by image because I still have them loaded in here. SmackDown got the Tribal Chief, Roman Reigns, Solo Sikoa, and the Wise Man, Paul Heyman.
So all we heard about them, USA has to have the bloodline. It's like, well, that was bullshit, clearly.
Yeah, right. Are you kidding me?
Ominous by their absence here are the Usos, but they were not eligible for draft last night, so it'll be interesting to see where they end up come Raw on Monday.
Yeah, especially considering the decision. I'll go ahead and handle Raw. Why not? We got two officials here. Monday Night Raw's first overall draft pick was the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes.
SmackDown got the roughest, the toughest, the greatest, the EST of the WWE, the Raw Women's Champion, Bianca Belair.
Raw's second pick overall was the man herself, Becky Lynch.
Not too far behind his legitimate wife, Montez Ford, and tag team partner Angelo Dawkins, the Street Profits ended up on the Blue brand.
And together, which was strange.
Speaking of together, talk about Monday nights being sacred as all three members of Imperium were drafted next to Monday Night Raw. The current Canelo champion, Walter, a.k.a. Gunther, and of course, Fabian Eichner and Marcel Bartel, a.k.a. Giovanni Vinci and Ludwig Kaiser.
The Rated R Superstar came home.
Yes.
The Blue brand. We talked last night. You think about the SmackDown 6 back in 2002. You think about Kurt Angle and Chris Benoit. One of those two is dead. One of them is retired and a Hall of Famer. You think about Eddie Guerrero and Chavo Guerrero. One of those is dead and a Hall of Famer. The other one is more or less retired.
And got
Rey Mysterio and Edge.
Yes.
Both Hall of Famers, both still active, and for the time being, both still on the Blue brand.
Yes.
And then, of course, of all people, RVD got to draft to Monday Night Raw. The original bro, Matt Riddle.
There are no coincidences, only facts.
Right. Why had the card upside down?
Right.
The almighty Bobby Lashley then came over to the Blue brand as a potential threat to Roman Reigns.
Drew McIntyre is once again back on Monday Night Raw.
There you go.
The Blue brand also got in their entirety the OC, the phenomenal one, AJ Styles, coming back to the house that AJ Styles built.
Great to see him home, man.
Monday Night Raw is still must-see as they have the A-lister, The Miz, still on their TV screens.
The Mister, right, Teddy?
The Blue brand also got a little injection of damage control as Dakota Kai, Io Sky, and Bailey all came to the Blue brand. Sometimes you try and speak a little too quickly and you just get a little tongue-tied there.
I have no idea what that means. What are you talking about?
Right? All I know is Michael Cole, I feel bad for you.
All the hugs for Michael Cole today, kids.
But I don't feel bad for this guy who, thank you, Elizabeth, for confirming, for the first time ever in his career, fully drafted now to the Red brand, the king of strong style, Shinsuke Nakamura.
And then we got a couple of interesting picks as we finally got a couple of NXT call-ups coming to the Blue brand. The current reigning and defending NXT Women's Tag Team Champions Alba Fire, and Isla Dawn.
Isla, Michael Cole, Isla.
I'm so glad you
Thank
said and not me. I was about to chew his ass out, but I'm above that.
For real.
And then, of course, we thought that was impressive. Talk about really getting the top of the cream when it comes to NXT. Poor Shawn Michaels, the current NXT Women's Champion and the longest tenured female competitor in NXT to this day. India Hartwell is now part of Monday Night Raw.
And
you gotta feel Shawn Michaels' frustration, but it is the way.
And if you thought that's where it all ended, well, you were wrong.
Big time.
Because the Smackdown Lowdown this morning on the Peacock app continued the draft. And that is what we are here to discuss today. I'm seeing a couple people in the chat room, pointing out the fact that there were more draft picks today. We realize that. That's why we're here.
Exactly. Particularly the most notable ones from NXT.
Yes, and we will get there. We're going to go in order that they were announced on the show. I did go back and I watched it. Okay. I know Noah tried to save me the trouble of watching it by sending me the people. It's like, but I'm actually kind of glad that I went back and watched it because I did learn a couple of things with a couple of the post-draft interviews.
Oh, cool.
I'll get to those as we get to those names. But
I'm glad y'all watched because I barely woke up an hour ago because reasons. So yeah.
What I noticed going through this though is that the Smackdown Lowdown picks were very Raw centric, and that puzzled me for a minute. But then I went back and I looked at the numbers, and SmackDown picked up 17 names last night.
Exactly.
Raw only got 8.
Exactly, because they've got package deals.
It was like
that's true.
SmackDown drafted a whole bunch of stables and tag teams, and with the exception of Imperium to Raw, everybody else was an individual.
Okay.
So that's why the Smackdown Lowdown show came out very Raw heavy, so that by the time everything is done, Raw picked up 22 names and SmackDown picked up 21 names.
Very nice balance.
There you go.
Looks a little bit more even now.
Yes.
But we had our hosts, Scott Stanford and Matt Camp, host us and walk us through everything. And as soon as we came on the air, they announced the first few names that had been drafted in after the show went off the air, if you will. And the first name we got was the Viking Raiders and Valhalla.
To Monday Night Raw. That's another tag team. And to be fair, they once, I believe, were on Monday Night Raw. And when I look at the Raw landscape, like you said, they did draft a lot of key singles names, but that's a hell of a force to go after Imperium.
Yeah,
absolutely.
It's one of those, they came back with a pretty cool little buzz there. They brought, Valhalla back, not Sarah. I want to pronouns in kayfabe, pal. But
this is one of those instances where I pull a Noah and it's like she's still Sarah Logan to me.
Exactly. But it's one of those things that I'm curious how they're going to play this out, if they're going to have undisputed across brands World Tag Team Champions, because if not, they're going to be stagnant, challenging on whatever side they're on. So hopefully this move will be combined with a possibility of separate tag team champions, because we all thought, okay, well, they're going to have the undisputed champion travel to both shows. And then Hunter came out on Raw and said, haha, just kidding. So I don't know if they're going to have undisputed tag champions now either. I would think not.
What I would like to see happen, and I know that unless the belts change hands prior to May 27th, that this won't happen. Yes. But I would like to see the belts be defended twice at Night of Champions. Okay. Have one tag team title match for the Raw belts, one tag team title match for the SmackDown belts.
I mean, that's
with fair. Sami Zayn not traveling to Saudi Arabia, therein lies the major hiccup.
Yes.
So we either kill their momentum and wreck the beautiful story that happened at WrestleMania by having them lose the straps prior to Night of Champions at the end of May.
Yes.
Or we find a way around it.
They have a couple of weeks to try and do that because, again, all these draft picks are not official until after Backlash, and then you have a 2-week reprieve before Night of Champions. So theoretically speaking, you could set up an impromptu Raw and SmackDown tag title contest each of those weeks back to back, respectfully. Just putting it out there, because as far as I'm concerned, if Night of Champions is supposed to respect all championships, you got to have some sort of tag team championship accolade on the line or presented there.
Yes.
Absolutely.
The other way around it is have the NXT tag champions go instead.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, it's a ridiculous cop out, but it is what it is, right? So
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
But by the way, Jay, before we go on the next pick, speaking of Night of Champions, everybody and their mother's picking up on this theory of yours. Like, they're not acknowledging it's yours because I'm pretty sure you said it first. I'm not going to bullshit. But this whole theory of Cody winning the briefcase and calling his shot and winning at the Garden, it's like all of a sudden, that's the new standard theory. And I'm going, y'all just admit you watch our shit, Mucker Brothers. Just please stop bullshitting, please.
You know,
Yeah,
people are too prideful to ever give freaking honor, condolences, and mentions to their sources.
Right? Damn it. We the ones, bitches. Seriously.
Acknowledge that.
Acknowledge that shit. That's right.
So the next name that was announced as part of this whole little 5-pick, if you will, announcement, staying on Raw, was Dexter Lumis.
That's a good sign.
As well as Candice LeRae.
Oh, good. That's a good sign that the we are going to get the way. That's good. I like that.
The only person who was not eligible for draft last night was Johnny Gargano. Obviously, there's still a question mark with him. He could potentially end up on the blue brand come Monday. But with Indy getting the call up, with Lumis staying there, with Candice staying there, with the fact that they very visibly drafted Montez to the same brand that has Bianca,
right?
You can almost bank on the fact that Gargano is going to stay on Raw with his wife.
Yes.
And Seth freaking Rollins is going to stay on Raw with Becky Lynch.
Because they don't separate couples. And also going back to the whole faction balance, the Way is another faction on Monday Night Raw, if that is indeed the case. Either way, you could do Indy Hartwell and Candice LeRae going after women's tag team gold again, I suppose. And also at this point, you could also use an entertaining storyline to see how Index renews their chemistry on Monday nights, because Dexter Lumis has been doing Dooley Squad.
No.
Yeah. Go ahead, Jeff.
I know JJ will be rushing out to grab those Indy Hartwell and Candice LeRae tag team champion shirts. He will be on that one. I know it. I just know that'll be a sale at the Costume Studios. He'll be lining the walls with those shirts, man. It'll be a thing.
I'm too conservative to spend my money anymore on that type of stuff.
I don't think it's the reason he's not going to, but we'll go ahead and go with that.
I'm conservative on what I spend my money on. That's it. That's the ticket.
That's the reason. That's the way.
Yeah, exactly.
One team I'm definitely not going to be dropping any money on is the team that they announced next for staying on Raw.
Okay.
And that's the Maximum Male model.
Oh, God. Lord. What a bunch of bullshit.
You know, if the Pretty Deadly shirt didn't say "Yes, Boys" on a big old bright pink shirt, I'd probably buy it in support because I do like Pretty Deadly. But yeah.
Is the Yes Boys on the front or the back?
The Yes Boys is on the front.
Yeah. We're not going to be buying that one.
Here's what's going to happen. Here's what's going to happen Monday night. They're going to draft Pretty Deadly to Monday Night Raw and start a feud with the Maximum Male models, and the first segment's going to be a catwalk walk-off.
Or they'll merge them into
hell no!
models.
Y'all quit picking their shit for them. This is a better idea than they've had either one of those teams have in months.
And then they announced that staying on SmackDown was Hit Row.
Shocker,
goody. Really. So we get Michael Cole getting picked on by Bayley and Damage Control and taken down on Top Dollar.
Yeah, there you go. It's a balancing act. It all works out in the end.
Hit and miss Row. Oh,
at least one of the individuals in Hit Row has some sort of potential, but seriously, was anyone really surprised with these two factions staying where they are?
No, not really. I mean,
comment of the day so far. Anyway,
what did surprise me was that they actually wasted draft picks on them and they didn't offer them up for free agency.
Yeah, you know. Hey,
because
John
that
Cena's
was
a free agent. They got to give that status to proper people. So.
well. I
and we
mean,
talked about last night, JJ, or I guess technically the same day. Some of these draft picks were literally just farm in because when you think about drafting, you think about switching things up. In this drafting, how many of these picks were literally farm in, especially today?
Right. Yeah.
that's a fair point. I mean, you talk about free agency, go into the proper people.
Yeah.
And like out of the 4 people that they announced as being free agents, only 2 of them I would really dub as the proper people.
Exactly.
You know, because after we did a little bit of backstage shenanigans and, you know, we got some backstage interviews and a few SmackDown highlights, we went ahead and we announced the people that got left for free agency. And the first name that they announced was Omos and MVP.
Okay.
Now, this makes sense to me because Omos is a giant.
Yeah,
He's that special attraction. You don't want to corral him to a certain brand. You want him to be able to go to either show to have that huge spectacle match.
Exposure,
Yes, exactly.
basically. Exposure.
You know, I'm not saying he's ready for, I'm not saying he would defeat, but something like an Omos Roman Reigns.
Yeah.
You know, it's very Hogan Andre. It's the spectacle.
Yes.
Right.
Kind of like Lesnar and Omos.
And then likewise, you've got Omos and Lesnar for a rematch on Raw, assuming that Lesnar stays on Raw.
Right.
But, you know, you've got those huge matches there, those potential spectacles, if you will. So you don't want to narrow him down to a brand.
I mean, MVP could always like cut a deal with Robert Stone, and Von Wagner and Omos could become a tag team.
I was going to say
that would be interesting because we'll just go ahead and skip ahead. Von Wagner is a free agent.
Yeah. Having MVP be the guiding light, if you will, for one of the free agents after he was the highest paid contract in SmackDown history at the time is not a lost thought on us long-term storytelling fans. But yeah, Von Wagner, again, people either shit on Von Wagner or they are like anticipating what's going to happen when he finally has that green light go on. So,
you know, Von Wagner has not impressed me in my NXT.
No.
It's not the gimmick, because just by look and attitude, he's everything that Vince McMahon would want in a champion.
Absolutely.
But it's very much like, and I, you know, kind of gave this away a little bit last night. It's kind of like when I went and I watched that NXT from the DVD that I'm going to review, and they were talking about Ty Dillinger.
Yeah.
And how he struggled for a little bit to find his niche, find his shtick, and then he came across the Perfect 10 gimmick and just...
Yeah, oh man.
Again,
Von Wagner is kind of in the same boat with me right now. Like, he has the tools, he has the look.
Yes.
He just doesn't have the gimmick yet.
And
the question is how long are they going to let him just kind of swim with the fishies before he's allowed to find that shtick?
Well, according to what I've looked at your highlights of your NXT, it sounds like he might be trying to get that shine for himself to contend with the likes of Ilya Dragunov. When I look at Von Wagner without Robert Stone in the corner, Von Wagner to me, from just a presentation, he feels like what Baron Corbin first was when he came into my NXT. And ironically enough, that's when Baron Corbin was the highest in his career. If Von Wagner can channel some of that presentation, his always pretty capable in the ring, then I feel Von Wagner has a very valuable opportunity to become something.
Yeah, it was that Baron Corbin that Dylan latched onto and moved away from Kofi Kingston fandom, and it was that Baron Corbin that caused this Baron Corbin to go, I'm sorry.
That still makes me laugh.
It still makes me chuckle now. Shit.
The other people that were announced as free agents, first one, no surprise. Dolph Ziggler is a free agent. And when you think about how limited his participation has been on the shows as of late anyways,
yes,
especially with his blossoming comedy career,
yes,
that's not a surprise. It's like they want to keep him under contract,
right?
But they also don't want to tie him down to something.
Well, considering his legacy, considering his longevity, and honestly, his contributions to the company on all brands. Thank you, Arlene. Respect. I mean, I understand that completely. I mean, at this point, Dolph Ziggler is the guy that they could call in, get a good match out of, even if it's not on Raw or SmackDown, could be on main event, just to maybe hype up a talent from NXT to give them like a proving ground match.
Exactly.
Per se. At this point, Dolph Ziggler, he might as well just have a Legends contract of sorts in his own right under WWE, because that's how viable he has been and still apparently is to the company. So that won't surprise me at all.
Dolph is the ultimate utility player.
Yes.
And Big G, we see you. We appreciate that. We look forward to seeing you on the show this evening.
I will try to pop it. It really depends, because if the Kings move past tonight, and please let it be in regulation. I ain't gonna be out all night on this shit, for real, guys. I have cleared it with my pop, and I can at least pop in during the car ride to Hollywood tonight.
There you go.
So I will try to pop in and talk about the topics for the evening, but we'll get there later.
We'll play out later, and Arlene, appreciate you. And
yeah, it's very, very sweet.
And Arlene, if you and Emmanuel want to be on City Predicting coming up for WWE Backlash, again, just let me know on the Twitter, or let one of these two people know, and they could relay it to me, because again, I'm barely on social media, because God help people's mentality.
Right.
Absolutely. And then the last person that they announced for free agency is a man who's had a little bit of a change in gimmick as of late. A man who's tried to be a little bit more positive. A man that I believe in. Mustafa Ali.
That's right.
I believe in Mustafa Ali more than I believe in Joe Hendry.
Blasphemy! 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 How dare you! Anyway, that's a whole different conversation for another day. Also, Joe Hendry has a broken nose. Get well soon.
Oh, shit!
Yeah. So
I just do it to get a rise out of you.
Yeah.
You know I love you.
Between Jeff Jarrett and JD, call me out on it, but I don't care. I'm like Aubrey, screw
Hey,
Jeff Jarrett.
you know what though? Jeff Jarrett won that match. And
he did not win on his own.
And Jay Lethal won on Friday also. He won on Rampage, so we're going to get a tag team title match. Jarrett and Lethal versus FTR. Aubrey Edwards is banned from ringside.
No, Aubrey Edwards be the official. Make sure this match carries on. And shit, we are going off topic.
No, but you know what though? You dare to yell at me with my name not on the marquee. It's kind of there on the billboard that you kind of see it there between. You dare, because Aubrey Edwards was not present and Jeff Jarrett is 2-0 this week.
That's bullcrap. There's a conspiracy. I'm telling you.
Did he win? Did he win on Wednesday? Yes or no? Yes or no? Yes or no?
Yes, I know.
Okay, and did anybody interfere in that match?
Yes, they did. Sergeant Dutz.
Sergeant Dutz did not interfere until after the match was already over. He won that shit.
He interfered during it. He literally ran in the middle of the ring. What the hell is happening here?
He did not do no.
We are going off the rails, everybody. We do apologize for those of you that tuned in to actually hear the draft coverage.
Oh, well, you know.
I mean, he started it. He brought Impact, and then I went to AEW, so there we go. But anyway, yeah, Mustafa Ali.
That wasn't my fault.
So says Snitsky, who showed up recently on MLW. What does that tell you?
Ooh, that's a little harsh, Matt. That's a little harsh with the Hooves comment. Come on now.
Yeah, seriously, Matthew. Let's be civil here. We're just kayfabe shooting, having fun with each other. Again, be respectful. This is why, again, Twitter can make or break you. Anyway, get back to it. Yeah, Mustafa Ali, this whole idea of being positive in adversity. He kind of hasn't had a direction since challenging Austin Theory for the United States Championship in his hometown and failing. He honestly might need to go down to NXT just to redefine himself at this point.
He hasn't had a direction since he was hacking into those computers and then sat home for months. He hasn't had direction since then, really.
That's true too, but I tend to forget 2020 for
as you should, as we all should. 2020 was good for one thing; it had nothing to do with wrestling on my end. So there was that.
Yeah.
And then we had some more backstage shenanigans. We had some more SmackDown highlights. And then we got to the final draft pick announcements for Smackdown Lowdown. And the first one that got announced was the only one of the last set of picks to go to SmackDown. And that's, the He-Man, James Hebert's favorite female on the WWE roster, Lacey Evans.
Well, I know he's not watching Friday nights.
Well, to be fair, he's not watching any night right now. So,
is he not a Lacey fan? I must have missed something.
She made a comment on social media about autism, and
That's right. That's right. I forgot about that. Yeah. That was a deal breaker for me with Lacey too. I'm not gonna lie.
So how are they going to repackage her this time?
Honestly, I don't know what they're gonna do with her. She's had so many failed experiments that it's like, when is enough,
right?
You know, they did all these vignettes about her as this military hero. She comes back, and in 3 weeks, she's a heel.
Yeah.
Then they do all these vignettes again, military background. She comes back, with Sergeant Slaughter's move, and she's gone again.
Yeah.
And it's like, come on. I'm overseeing her on my screens.
Yeah. It's like
she's so poorly booked that you don't even notice when she's gone.
No. Yeah. Like, they either try too hard or they don't try at all. It's like, dude, find a happy medium, for the love of Christ.
This is WWE, Jeff. You really
I understand that it's WWE, but they have proven that they can not stutter step with every freaking buddy, and they've done nothing but stutter step with her since they started it was even before the Flair thing. It was when she was teaming with Corbin against Rollins and Becky. I mean, that from that point forward, it's just been Corbin booking for her, which is ridiculous because she, again,
Corbin's been booked better.
Critical as hell of bringing her up to the main roster. She was not ready in ring for a call up at all.
Completely agree.
And I hate to Barry Horowitz myself twice in the same weekend for different reasons, but God damn it, she wasn't ready. And she's still not ready because they don't do with her.
Nope.
So.
Then the last 4 or 5 names, were all drafted to Raw.
Okay.
First and foremost, the Queen of Hearts comes to the red brand.
Locker room leader.
Definitely happy for that. She was one of my draft picks to go to Raw.
Yes, she was.
I felt like she needed the rejuvenation. It's good to see that WWE was either on the same wavelength as me or they saw our video and took note. Either way, I'm not going to go around Arn Anderson myself, toot my own horn, but it's good to see that Natty is getting that opportunity to shine once again on the red brand, and hopefully she will be thrust into actual championship contention.
Yes.
Because that is where she shines best.
Considering that right now Raw technically doesn't have a women's championship.
I mean, yeah. Oh, yeah, JJ, no Arnie. We only need 1 Glock per week. We're good.
Oh,
yeah, right?
Lord almighty.
And I do see we got a super chat. Thank you very much, Emmanuel. $5 super chat says, only way this draft matters is if AEW, Ring of Honor, New Japan, WWE, TNA join forces to draft who they need to make a splash.
The only way that would work is if this industry was about collaboration versus WWE above all else being about, more so than against themselves, competition. It's one of those things where you got a video game where you can fantasy book anybody in the industry for such a roster like that. But that's never going to be a reality. Not in this structural world of capitalism and business.
But don't worry, Manuel. That's why I've bought the building. That's just the first step. We will consolidate the industry. It'll be okay.
What is going on, Matt? Thank you very much for being here. Thank you for telling everyone to hit that like button, subscribe, share. We appreciate you being one of our biggest cheerleaders.
Always, man.
Well, we appreciate all of you. Even Matthew Halstetter, who, again, sometimes the keyboard can get ahead of your...
without going too far. Yeah, Matt, I did receive your message, and I did forward it to the proper person that needs to address the message. So you are good to go, Matthew.
There you go.
But, I mean, it would be nice if we could get legitimate Forbidden Door activity.
Yes.
How would be involved? Yes.
But I think we're still a couple years away from it. I think we're closer than we ever have been in the past.
Right.
Because I think Triple H sees the potential in something like that. But I think that his reign of terror, if you want to use a bad pun, as far as his control over WWE creative is still too fresh to try to jump out there and do it just a year after Vince's removal, just a couple months after the sale to Endeavor. But I think in the next 2 to 5 years, if the Forbidden Door keeps being a thing in AEW, I could definitely see by the time we get to Forbidden Door's 5th year, I could definitely see it being a possibility under Triple H's regime.
The only reason I disagree with it being more likely now than it's ever been is because of the sale. Because Endeavor owning UFC and WWE, UFC only acknowledges people from other MMA promotions once they're in UFC. Oh, yeah, former this, but now he's here. Former this, but now she's here. I don't know if they're going to want or necessarily think they need the collaboration from the wrestling world. The three of us in here and the people watching this broadcast right now know that a true Forbidden Door situation would be wonderful if it wasn't a Forbidden Door, if that door was just knocked off the hinges, like, all right, we're all working together, F it. But at the end of the day, Endeavor owning both the top brands in each side of the quote unquote sports entertainment, professional wrestling situation, because UFC is very much a real life combat sports, but it's also very much WWE sports entertainment presentation type. I don't think we're going to have a whole lot of collaboration, which is sad, but as Metallica says, sad but true.
Again,
you heard it here. We'll see what happens in the coming years, but
I hope I'm wrong. I really hope I'm wrong. Lord knows I'm too much of a vain mucker feather to be wrong and like it, but I hope I'm wrong there.
Yeah, all I know is collaboration can definitely outweigh and outlast competition. And that person or last year proved that to me. And that was just AEW and NJPW.
At the end of the day, it is a business. And Endeavor being the ones now to own WWE, Endeavor stands to gain substantial profit if WWE works with these other companies now. They're going to get a portion of ticket sales, portion of merch sales. They're going to get more publicity for their talent being out there. And, think of it as community service. They're going to get so much more publicity by their brand, the WWE, being out in the community, giving to the fans, giving the people what they want. That's just going to be a huge return for Endeavor in the long run.
Right. Just raise that bottom dollar even higher each year.
Absolutely.
So the next name that they announced going to Raw, it's been kind of dabbling around NXT for a while, but he isn't an NXT star, so he wasn't a call-up per se, but Apollo Crews.
Interesting.
Coming back to the red brand.
Nigerian royalty, former Intercontinental Champion. I mean, definitely could see him going after Walter. But yeah, that one kind of caught me by surprise. But considering his last program was against Dabakato, who planted him in the mat. I mean,
Debo Keto.
Yeah, that dude, Avocado.
To be fair, it was Friday. He had no job. He had no kid. He ain't got shit to do. So,
I mean, if you got nothing to do, then again, you need a new scenery or you return to old scenery. I mean, Apollo Crews, he found himself a little bit down there. Now he's going back to where he once was, and we'll see what he can do on his own.
There you go.
Let me ask you this, okay? Because Apollo Crews and his mainstream tenure in the big two, Raw and SmackDown was during my absence.
Yes.
You called him Nigerian royalty. What about Apollo Crews and Omos as a tag team?
Ooh.
Yeah.
Under the tutelage of MVP. We've talked about a reformation of the Hurt Business. What if instead of Omos, Lashley, Alexander, Benjamin, whatever, it's MVP, Omos, Apollo Crews? The Nigerian Giant and the Nigerian royalty coming together under MVP's tutelage.
I don't think MVP has actually ever reached out or suggested that he manage Apollo, so I think that would be a first, and it would be something different. So, yeah, I mean, again, at this point, it's one of those things where it's like you're going back to this brand. Can you make it as a singles competitor, or would you be pushed in a different direction as part of something that could literally be, quote unquote, something bigger?
Big G says Apollo Crews dropped the whole Nigerian thing.
Right.
I thought so, but when Noah mentioned him as Nigerian royalty, that's kind of what planted the seed in my head there. And Matthew says Apollo Omos Carmelo an MVP.
As long as Carmelo's the NXT champion, that isn't going to happen, but I do love that idea. But also, I think about this. Apollo's going back to the main roster. Who's to say he wouldn't go back to that gimmick or would be encouraged to go back to that gimmick? Such is the case if he was endorsed by MVP, because MVP is all about that money. So, I mean, again, and the gimmick right itself, Nigerian. So, I mean, just because a gimmick isn't used for right now doesn't mean it can't come back.
That's fair. Then the next announcement we had going to Raw was, well, let's just put it the way it is, the team that's been dubbed the Karens.
Yeah,
right.
Officially, Chelsea Green, who was already on Raw, but Sonya Deville was booked as a SmackDown superstar.
Yes.
Well, now they're both together on the Red brand, which means the Karens will rule Monday nights or complain about them. You be the judge.
And I still say, if she's part of the selected talent pool, put Tiffany Stratton with them.
Oh, God.
Yes.
She would so fit in with the Karen gimmick. You know, I heard Tiffany Stratton over the course of the last week gave an interview where she said that she didn't feel like she was ready for a call-up yet. Which, you know, considering her gimmick, I commend her for the humbleness.
Right.
Being able to recognize the fact that she's not ready for that.
Separate the character
from weight right yet.
Yep.
But it kind of intrigued me, considering I was the only one that kind of was calling for her to get drafted up last week.
Right.
And then less than a week later, she's given an interview about not being ready for a call-up yet. Again, we've talked numerous times about how the people that used to reside in this tower that is our backdrop today had eyes on our product. Could that have been a little... We saw this, we heard the grumblings, let's acknowledge it.
Right?
Yeah. I mean, you know, Shawn Michaels is definitely more conscious than other people that are bigwigs in that company now and then. So, I mean, I wouldn't rule it out. But the way I see it is Tiffany Stratton doesn't come off as a Karen to me. She would come off more so as somebody in charge of the Karens. And whether or not she's for anger management or books them to be like, you know, an entourage, it just sounds like a trio that just screams annoying that could work. But I can admire that Tiffany Stratton wants to continue growing down in NXT. I can respect that.
Absolutely.
And then the final two names that got announced were some more NXT call-ups.
I've been waiting for these two.
Going to the Red brand. Man, it pains me that they were the last ones announced yet again, much like they were yesterday on the show. You know, but you could also run with the whole they saved the best for last.
Damn right they did, because go ahead and put it up, JJ.
Going to Raw is Zoe Stark and my boy, JD McDonough.
The Irish Days!
The fact that he does not have a t-shirt yet of his logo with the spade and the skull face like you see in the background there on the Tron, that is a huge crying shame. Like that is a shirt to sell.
I'm telling you, JJ, the main roster, every Titantron is nothing but name and color. They're going to miss this opportunity. I'm telling you right now. But
I know, and it's a shame because that is a hell of a logo, man.
I agree.
Put that on the front of the shirt, and then you could even take the JD in the spade that he's got on his hooded jacket there, put that on the sleeve. Bam, like money.
Well,
money. Fry from Futurama. Shut up and take my money.
I recognize that.
Yes.
I've been saying it for the longest time, particularly about Zoe Stark. Not only was she involved with the Royal Rumble, she's been one of those that I feel like has just got that build, that look, that attitude that screams, especially for a Vince type of female, I could definitely use this talent. She's gone after the NXT Women's Championship now on numerous occasions. She was involved in the Royal Rumble. Like I said, usually Royal Rumble appearance, let alone performance, indicates you're on your way to something. As far as Jaden McDonough, he's had this proverbial chip on his shoulder since coming into WWE back in NXT UK, where he and Tyler Bate had an instant classic. He's also never faced Walter one-on-one since that Worlds Collide show during a WrestleMania Access. So right now, I could definitely see JD McDonough being a key candidate for whatever this championship is, but also challenging Walter for the Intercontinental Championship. And as far as Zoe Stark goes, now that her and Indy are both on Raw, they already had a bit of a fallout in your NXT. I can see that feud being picked up too. So these were the two key names in NXT that I was waiting to hear about finally being called up because they are long overdue. And also, that means that JD might not be held in the same loop because let's think about this, because why he wasn't part of the pool, whenever JD and Ela are on the same feed, same screen, same ring, they are each other's worst enemy, but instant classic for us. Now JD literally has a fresh start to sink or swim on his own.
And Big G with my biggest question, JD to the Judgment Day?
It's bold, but it's one of those things where I feel like JD, ever since the one-on-one match back at NXT UK TakeOver, you know what I'm talking about, Big G. Ever since JD faced his teacher, Finn Balor, I don't think he would want to work under him. I think he would want to usurp or surpass him. And I still feel like Judgment Day right now, with the way the landscape looks in WWE, still has a chance to be drafted.
I mean, it could always be a situation like we had last year where Finn joined Judgment Day and then they booted Edge out.
True.
JD could join Judgment Day and they could evict Balor.
Fair. And that would mean that Finn Balor would get a whole new character direction back as a face, and you could build that feud. So, I mean, yeah, but it's also one of those things where I feel like JD, he's a guy that prefers to work alone.
That's fair.
Fair.
You know, another proverbial lone wolf. Hopefully they won't kill this one like they did to Baron Corbin.
Yeah. No more killing wolves. That's wrong, people.
Emmanuel with another $5 super chat, this time to your channel, Jeff. He says, are you guys really trying to make Sean lose his smile again?
I didn't do it.
He's NXT call-up.
That's what Brian said last night on SmackDown.
You could tell that Sean was kind of annoyed because Sean would definitely, this was out of his control. He tossed that card, like, well, fuck me. Again, he lost his women's champions in the span of less than a minute. Now he's lost two key talents in his NXT, one for both men and women respectfully. Sean's not having a great week.
No, think about the fact that 4 of his women's roster got drafted.
Yeah. Exactly.
You know, and then 1 of his men's, you know, Zoe, Indy, Alba, and Isla all got drafted.
I wanted to ask you about that because I know you're not like there's some we saw like Zoe like is not your favorite, but she's definitely got the talent, Jay. So like, how are you feeling about her coming to the USA Network? I mean, on Raw because she's already USA. Sorry.
Even Matthew pointed that out. He's like, I worry about Zoe's promos hurting her on the main roster.
Yeah,
they aren't the best, but she has solid in-ring talent. You know, I've never been able to put my finger on what it is about Zoe that I don't connect to.
Yeah.
But there's just something about her presentation missing to me.
Yeah.
Maybe it's because, and I don't want to sound shallow, but maybe it's because I'm so used to the standard presentation of a WWE diva, if you will, and the certain look. And even ever since the women's evolution, the majority of their women still have the style and the look that you would expect from a WWE female talent.
Right.
And I just don't see that in Zoe.
Yes.
It makes me wonder what it is about her that, you know, intrigued there so much. And yeah, the talent is great, but unfortunately, you can't sell talent in a t-shirt. You can't sell talent in an action figure. You can't sell talent in a DVD.
Right.
Well, I mean, you can in a DVD because you're going to look at the matches, but I digress. Botch there. But, you know, you look at their presentation, and Trish Stratus, when she first came into the game, horrible in-ring competitor, had the body, the look, she had everything going for her other than the performance factor, which she did eventually get.
Oh yeah, in spades.
Zoe Stark is the polar opposite. She has everything else going for her to have a lengthy WWE career. She just doesn't have the look.
Right.
And that's not to say that every WWE female roster has to be equipped with 38 double Ds and a tiny waist.
No.
Because there's women on the roster that don't have huge upper torsos, if you will. Trying to be as polite about it as possible.
I mean,
I don't want to.
You're not
I don't want to run Noah off again like
you're not
we did
trying
last
to
night.
recede the so-called women's evolution. I get it.
Yeah,
But
I mean,
you already know my stand
look-
on women in wrestling and where I really care about actual women's professional wrestling, where I think
Right,
it's booked right too.
right.
But that's a whole different story.
You look at a girl like Cora Jade, you look at Roxanne Perez, you look at Indy Hartwell. They're not the most voluptuous women on the roster, but they still have a look.
Right.
They still have a certain marketability to their presentation. Cora has this exotic look about her. You know, Roxanne has got the kind of, you know, she's got like a model Asian thing going for her. Indy has an exotic look going for her. They have things that can be marketed and molded properly to a certain demographic. Bianca Belair, not the most voluptuous woman out there, but she's got a certain look. She's got a certain attitude. She's got that marketability, whether it's with her hair or her outfits. I just don't see that in Zoe.
You just probably got to pair her up with the right person to push that out for her. And maybe her and Natalia might be the way to go to start that off.
Possibly.
I like that idea. No, that's good.
I wouldn't be opposed to that. If nothing else, Natalia is great at bringing out the best of people. But Natalia also deserves to be a main singles competitor, something that she has very rarely ever been in WWE. She's always either been a joke, a jobber, or a tag team specialist, much like her father. Yes, she has had runs with the women's championship, the Divas championship, whatever, but they're always brief.
Right.
And when you figure the fact that she's pushing 20 years with the company, at least 15 for sure.
Right.
And she has never had a dominant singles run yet.
No.
There's something wrong there, because Natalia
absolutely
has every check mark boxed.
Oh, I agree.
You know, Big G with a $5 super chat saying Rhea can be my mommy any day of the week.
Oh, delay.
Got to take a number and get in line, Big G. There are a lot of guys that feel that way,
including Dom, and he's on time. He will kill you.
Right?
I mean, maybe.
Ask again later, Magic 8 Ball. That's all I got to say about that. Good.
And I disagree with you, Matthew. Zoe is not the same model as Rhea and Shayna.
No.
Because Rhea has the gothic personality to her.
Ever since she found that.
She's got the darkness. Yes. You know, she attracts that demographic.
All these
Shayna is that no nonsense, for lack of a better term, bad bitch.
Right.
You know, she's very much a Ronda light, but I feel like saying that is a disservice to Shayna Baszler. And especially with Big G in the chat room, Big G's going to want to come over here and get me for calling his girl Shayna Ronda light.
Hey, me and Big G, we're both brothers for life in Black and Gold NXT when she actually was a freaking singles champion.
Right.
She still should have won WrestleMania 36, but I digress. So, I mean, at this point, you're just preaching to the choir and opening up old wounds.
Yeah, but I mean, Rhea more so than Shayna has a certain look that can be marketed, that can, you know, draw money. You know, she's selling those I'm Your Mommy shirts. She's got the other shirts with her face on them. You're not going to get that from a Zoe Stark, at least not yet.
Right. Well, that's the thing. It's rise or sink at this point now for Zoe Stark. Why she has the tools to kind of bring it in the ring. We got to see now what she can bring from a personality standpoint. And she's tried that a couple of times, both heel and face aspects in NXT, whether it was in tag team or singles. So now that she's on the red brand on her own, we'll see what happens. But again, just calling the elephant in the room, Raw doesn't have a women's championship.
Currently.
Yeah, again.
We still have a whole nother night of draft picks on Raw, which at least you will be able to find me here post-Raw to cover that.
Yes.
Hopefully, I will have either Jeff or Noah here to discuss the draft picks with me, but at least I will be here to bring you the updates and what happened on the show.
Now that the boss is back in his big chair in Michigan, I will definitely be able to not have to worry about recapping Monday Night Raw. So I will be watching it on our time here on the West Coast. So I one way or the other, much as NBC said for 10 years, I'll be there for you.
All right, there we go. Big G, I'm gonna put you on the spot real quick. Shayna Baszler or Britt Baker?
Ooh, there you go.
Damn.
Because he put up the comment about how Shayna can be his bad bitch anytime.
Yeah, you know.
Big G's probably not going to answer that for you, but hi, Cece.
I was going to say, Cece, my girlfriend, just chimed in here, says that she disagrees.
Mariah Carey!
Zoe reminds me of Mariah Carey if she was a bodybuilder. Very marketable. That's an interesting take. I don't see it. You're going to have to show me how you see that once I get off the air.
Get a Google picture, compare and contrast.
Yeah, I was going to say because I have been following Mariah Carey since 1990.
Damn.
And I don't see it.
That's one person I can honestly say defines diva to a T, because she truly was and still is the diva prior to the music industry. Oh, well, there you go. Big G's going to go with a triple threat. So either way, he doesn't win, doesn't lose.
Cop out, fucker.
Hey, it's just like his cop out every week on the show. He's just happy to be here. He's just happy to be part of that triple threat.
Yeah, always.
That's a fair point.
Big G, love you, brother. Even if you try and screw me with super chats.
He is still the El Dorado meme. Both.
So that is what happened on the Smackdown Lowdown today as far as the supplemental Smackdown draft. Once again, for those of you that tuned in late, I'm just going to rapid fire through these. Raw got the Viking Raiders and Valhalla. They kept Dexter Lumis. They kept Candice LeRae. They kept the Maximum Male Models. SmackDown kept Hit Row. They announced that MVP and Omos, Mustafa Ali, Dolph Ziggler, and NXT's Von Wagner were all free agents. And then we found out that Lacey Evans stayed on SmackDown. Natalya got moved to Raw. We got Apollo Crews moving to Raw. We have Chelsea Green staying on Raw, but Sonya Deville moving to Raw to keep the team together. And then NXT lost Zoe Stark and JD McDonough to the Red Brand.
Good grief. There definitely was a fair amount of shakeup this first day.
And man, I am looking forward now, not just to Raw on Monday to see what happens with the rest of the draft, but I'm looking forward to May 8th and seeing how these names make an impact, if you will. You know, what Zoe is going to do to insert herself in the women's championship picture, what JD McDonough is going to do to make an impact, what Indy Hartwell is going to do. Is she immediately going to go in there with the way? Is she going to interject herself elsewhere and then slowly move back into the way? You know, Alba Fire and Isla Dawn, how are they going to assert themselves on the blue brand?
Isla, Michael Cole. Isla.
Yes, Isla. You saying it as soon as I say it makes it seem like I said it wrong, and I know I said it right.
No, you said it right because I would correct you because that's
just so infuriating. This muckerfather run WWE.com digital media for how many years? He's allegedly watching the show.
Allegedly.
Damn it. Like, for all the professional steps he's taken in 25 years, it's like, you can't get a name right on one of the incoming draft picks and a reigning tag team champion. The actual fuck, Michael Cole.
To be fair, Corey Graves had to correct him on what a Misonoku driver was versus a Falcon Arrow at WrestleMania 37.
You know what,
Michael Cole has passed his time.
That's a little bit different because Taka's been gone for a while, and it does look similar-ish enough where I can see the confusion.
Either way, Michael Cole, get your act together, man. Good grief.
For fucking real, man. Anyway,
Matthew with an interesting question saying he wonders who the major focuses of the NXT women's roster are going to be now with the fact that they just lost 4 of their biggest names.
That's fair.
That is
Obviously, this statement may very well change after the Raw portion of the draft, but you figure at least at this point in time,
Roxanne
they
Perez.
still have Cora Jade, they still have Roxanne Perez, they still have
Gigi
Nikita
Dolan,
Lyons,
Jesse Jane.
they've still got Fallon Henley, Kiana James, they've got
Your Tiffany Stratton.
yes, thank you, Tiffany Stratton. Trying to think of some of the other names over there right
the
now.
KC Square Connection.
Yes,
Who
Katana
have a shot
Chance
on
and
Tuesday, by
Kaden
the way.
Carter.
Yes.
You know, they've got Lash Legend, who's been on Level Up lately.
Right.
Gee, I wonder why.
You know, I mean, so there's
Yeah.
9 women right there, and you've got Gigi Dolan and JC Jane.
Yes.
I would say that the odds-on favorite, assuming they don't get drafted, would be one of those 2.
Yeah,
Gigi
because
and JC.
Gigi and JC right now, they're still in a blood feud ever since the fallout of your toxic attraction. I know Soruka's been on the rise, but she's injured.
Yeah,
And
she's
then
got
you
a torn ACL.
Damn. And then you got, of course, Michael Satomaro, who's still down there. Not to mention, they've been doing a program with Lyra Valkyria, the former Lyra Valkyrie.
Yes, there you go. You got Lyra Valkyria. I forgot about her.
And she just had her first loss against Cora Jade, so we'll see how much further that goes too. So again, like I said, before this draft, your NXT Women's Division had the most depth. Now I'm kind of wondering what they are going to do because they did just lose 4 of their biggest names.
What's interesting to me is that we just had a ladder match at Stand and Deliver to crown what we thought was going to be a new champion because of Roxanne and her injuries, her issues.
Exactly.
Obviously, she was able to compete in that match after all. But now we're going to have to do something to crown a new NXT Women's Champion.
Do another tournament. Why the heck not?
I would say, do we do something at Night of Champions since it's supposed to be our championships? Do we do it at Battleground, which is the next night anyways? You know, the odds-on favorite is that we'll do a tournament that'll lead towards Battleground.
You would think, right?
That is NXT's platform, and at the end of the day, NXT is still not looked at as an equal to Raw and SmackDown. Night of Champions is going to focus on the red and the blue. Battleground should focus on your white and gold. And right now, Shawn Michaels has a lot of work to do.
And unfortunately, we here on the Multiverse of Media won't be covering Battleground because they decided to run the same night as AEW Double or Nothing.
I don't know what Shawn. I swear, Shawn, he may be in charge of creative to a degree and talent in NXT. He is not in charge of that brand's direction or booking. I'm telling you that right now. Because why in the F would you put something up against AEW Double or Nothing, regardless
Arrogance
versus Peacock?
Arrogance because they think they can.
Well, arrogance is foolish.
What about Scott Lost and Chris Bosh?
Hey, Scott Lost is at a con out here this week. I almost went up to see him. If I wasn't busy tonight and tomorrow, I'd be going to see Scott this because he's actually out here doing some sort of con or whatever. Like, I want to go see Scott. And Chris Bosh, yeah, I saw enough. I saw all I need to see at Chris Bosh the rest of my life, if we're being honest. Yeah, and if you know, you know. If you don't, please God, don't Google search it because you will be traumatized. It will be a thing.
You realize you just did reverse psychology, and people are doing it right now as we speak.
Absolutely, and when they do. I will stand on the not stand because I ain't standing right now. But I will sit in front of this camera until that was not my fault, Gene Sinsky style.
I do believe so, Big G. I do believe both shows are running at the same time.
Yeah, last I checked, I think they were because we were talking about everything that's coming up, and I'm like, wait a second. At least with the freaking August one, I know one's across the pond, so I don't think they'll be on at the same time. But
That's
good
fair.
grief.
That's fair. Emmanuel with another $5 super chat. Thank you very much again, Emmanuel. He says, I owe you, meaning me, because this one went to your channel, Jeff. Says, what if NXT gets King Queen of the Ring to decide the new NXT Women's Champion?
Well, the thing is, they already got a king. His name's Carmelo Hayes, but I kind of can understand where you're coming from. But the bottom line, Queen of the Ring is not the same as a freaking championship. It's an accolade.
Yeah, if they were to actually, and again, I'm not downplaying how well, especially Zelina, but both she and Woodsy carried the gimmick.
Right.
I'm kind of good with them bringing back King and Queen in the ring. Because I was looking forward to seeing it. And then they showed exactly how little they cared by going, oh, Roman's got 1,000. Just kidding. I fool you. A different name now. Like, the fuck, guys. Come on. So
Just farming it in. Just farming it in.
I mean, at the end of the day, they never said that they wouldn't reschedule it. They just decided to run with the marketing, the business side. It's Night
like
of
I done
Champions.
said for a month.
It's the 1,000 days. So, it makes perfect sense.
Our marketing, all the marketing.
I will say that if he does get there and there's merch for it and then Cody cashes in at the Garden, we need to book a meeting in Stanford and go, look, motherfuckers. If you're going to do that, at least give us a little side hustle, like a little bit of under the table something. Come on.
Give us some free tickets to Mania next year.
I don't know about that. I ain't going to get that blasé about it. Shit, goddamn, I ain't that ballsy.
Hey, we still got to pay for airfare and hotel, but just give us the tickets.
It's going to be at the same price, scarily enough.
Right?
That's
why I say it's like a halfway point. We'll figure out our way to get there. You just got to give us the reason to get there.
Although I will say...
All I know is the end of August, I'm going to work on the plan, and we'll see what happens and what things look like come the end of 2023.
I will say this. I've been keeping the Expedia updated on my account every day, and I'm just like waiting until I can actually book the flight dates proper. It is not going to be that bad. Even if you're not to fly business class, it's going to be not that crazy if I book this far. I'm like, you know what?
There you go.
It looks better and better. And plus with the generosity of Big G and his wife, I'm like, oh, thank you, God. So the flight will be probably the biggest expense. Even if we sit really good at WrestleMania, the flight is still going to be the biggest cost. For real. It's going to be crazy. But worth it because he's really into this trip, the kiddo. So I'm here for it.
He should be.
And he's flat out not going to the thing in Belize. He was like, no, none of my friends are going. And I was like, well, that's just go by. No, I don't want to go. I'm like, what about Philly? He goes, well, yeah, I definitely want to go to that. I'm like, okay, well, there you go.
I mean, Philadelphia. I mean, if nothing else, go to the ECW arena and catch a show there from Impact.
Well,
I guarantee you they'll be doing something.
It's funny, Noah. Like I actually pitched it, like I said on one of the open, like I pitched it as yes, we're going for WrestleMania, but it's also a very huge U.S. history hub.
Yes.
So he was like, you know what, that's a good point. I'm down for that too. And I'm like, and if we're staying with Big G, we're closer to Baltimore, which is damn near a hop, skip, and a jump from Washington, D.C. We can go actually see the Declaration, see the Constitution, and go, look, these are what aren't used worth the fuck anymore, but they're really nice in their glass cases, aren't they?
God help them. God help America.
That's right. God bless America, land that goes crazy. Stand beside her and guide her through the bullshit. Anyway.
Damn.
So that wraps up. So that wraps up our coverage of the supplemental draft here on the Jeff Meacham Network, Multiverse of Media.
And concludes day one as a whole.
Yes.
Draft day.
Very quickly gonna do a couple of shows here, a couple of promotions. Make sure you tune in at the top of the hour. Over on the Casa D18 Studios channel for my review of Renfield, new release Saturday.
So good. So fun.
And then, of course, later on this evening, make sure you come back for open mic night. We will be discussing the new championship as well as a couple other topics.
Yes.
Tomorrow, we've got the Warzone over on the Casa D18 Studios channel. Some more 50-cent Dollar Tree movies to discuss.
Nice.
And then since we have a little bit of a bigger turnout right now than we did last night, really briefly going to go ahead and chill and plug the new members section of the Casa D18 Studios channel.
Members section, you say?
Yes, I actually have a video about that. So we're going to run this video real quick like we did last night, and then come back. I'll discuss it briefly.
Fancy.
We will say our goodbyes. So check this out. The following is a special announcement from J.J. Williams and the Casa D18 Studios YouTube channel. What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the members-only section of the Casa D18 Studios YouTube channel. Now, in the coming weeks, months, and years, This is where you will find all of my non-archived wrestling content. What I'm going to try to do is review wrestling DVDs, much in the same vein as you will see my movie reviews over on Renegades Reviews, as well as occasionally discuss the current wrestling product, much like the old school Renegade of Wrestling shows from the early 2010s. This is where you will find all of that content. I'm looking at doing it on Thursdays, as that's usually a dead day here on the channel, with the exception of the Throwback Thursday content that airs on the main Casa D18 Studios side of things. So for $4.99 a month, you guys will get access to all of that wrestling content that'll be coming to you in the coming weeks, months, and years. Those of you that subscribe early, like now, you'll get a few little hot take videos, maybe a surprise secret drop in there. But we're looking to have the content begin going live in July of 2023. First video debuting on July 1st, which is a Saturday, and then every Thursday thereafter, you'll get a brand new video here in the members only section of the Casa D18 Studios channel. Again, just $4.99 a month. It's a good way for you to show your love, your support. I hear a lot of you guys whispering and talking about how you would like for me to do more wrestling content. This is the way that you prove it. Show that love, show that support. Subscribe for only $4.99 a month, and you get access to videos nobody else will get access to. I thank you guys for watching this brief video explaining to you what's going to be coming up here in the members only section of the Casa D18 Studios channel over the next coming weeks. And I look forward to your support. Have a great day.
Very nice.
I dig it, dude. I'm definitely looking forward to seeing how that all plays out for you.
So there you go. And then again, if you go to my YouTube channel, you'll see a sign, or not a sign, but a button that says join. Click on it. It'll show you the video that you just saw. There's another little button here that says join. And that's all there is to it. Nice and easy.
Easy peasy, baby.
As I told Noah last night, the first videos that are going to go up as far as part of the official July launch, very much inspired by him, as I have the black and gold NXT collection.
My NXT!
Buy the DVDs.
I have already watched NXT from Secret to Sensation. I have notes taken on everything. I just need to sit down in front of camera and record. But yeah, so trying to get it out there, trying to branch out, trying to expand. I hope that our loyal viewers and our fans out there will show that love and support and subscribe to the channel.
Yes.
I've been trying to acquire some more DVDs, and not just WWE.
Oh, no.
In time, I'm going to try to find some AEW stuff. I've been trying to procure some TNA stuff.
Definitely need to unearth your Big Blue and find the old TNA DVDs.
Everything that I own still is packed over here in the corner. It's just a matter of getting to it. That's part of why everything is starting in July.
Yes.
That's part of why these that are new that I just kind of have out are the ones that are up first.
Hey.
Because, I don't have to try to dig through stuff for it.
This is fair.
This is the way also.
Yeah, and
but, you figure
I've got my kids that can help with the digging, to be fair. So.
Right.
You figure I've got my PWG archives over there.
Yes. Oh my God. Right.
I've got a couple of old Ultimate Pro Wrestling DVDs over there. I'm sure there's a couple of Ring of Honor DVDs over there.
Oh, I'm sure there is.
You know, and then of course there's my extensive WWE collection.
Yes.
And when I say extensive, I mean extensive.
Oh yeah, guys. You think mine's bad? Oh no.
Like between me and Jeff, we were the WWE Network before there was a WWE Network.
Yes. That was the evolution. Blockbuster and local movie houses, the Casa, WWE Network.
Pretty much.
It's pretty much how it went.
And as Blockbuster and those movie houses were starting to dwindle, you could make an argument that we were on par with or even above those.
Oh hell yes.
With Big Blue alone.
Yeah, Big Blue was like the freaking like the corner store that took up half the damn shopping center. Like for real.
Big Blue was Bam Bam Bigelow. It was the Beast from the East.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
He's not wrong.
People are going, what are you doing directional-wise? You have no idea, and I'm okay with that, making you guys think on a Saturday. Ha!
My brain, people's brains. Yeah,
so that is it once again for this special broadcast here across the multiverse of media. Jeff, is there something you would like to say before I just want to close us out?
If you happen to have it loaded, the graphic for Friday's episode of Dads, because I have an update to that time frame schedule, if you will, because I will be, as I mentioned earlier, at Galaxy's Edge on May 4th, this coming Thursday. But in addition to my attendance in the Black Spire Outpost over in Galaxy's Edge, the footage I have coming up on Open Mic Night the following night will have that footage I shoot back in on Planet Batu, but I will also have a pair of female accompaniments with me throughout the shoot. So it's going to be a wonderful May the 4th, and our Revenge of the 5th will unfold at 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 Pacific, and then Open Mic Night's just going to be fucking batshit crazy.
As it usually is.
Post-backlash at that, so.
Oh, Lord.
As it usually is. All right. Noah, go ahead and take us out of here as you so beautifully do.
I will try to break you this time, my friend, I promise.
It's all good. You know, once in a while I need to be broken. It makes me realize I'm human after all. That being said, this is always a fun time. I hope people enjoy these too. And if people want to see more type of stuff like this with the three of us out of just coincidences, then let your voices be known, chat. Because again, we appreciate all of you. You make this possible. But if people want to know more about me, know this. For I am just a simple man and a lifelong fan of professional wrestling. Damn it! But I digress. So find me on the social medias at InFoster1916 for all things wrestling. Shout out, of course, to my entire HW family on the Twitter. As April's about to make its leave, and it's gonna be May, we got a lot to look forward to. Of course, next week we got the remainder of the WWE Draft. We'll see what 2 a.m. Standard Time looks like. No promises, but I'm not going to say no. We also, of course, have Simply Predicting coming up for WWE Backlash, as well as me and JJ's coverage of WWE's Backlash with good old JM, I believe, going to join us along for the ride, too.
I will be there. I'm off Saturday.
In Puerto Rico, which should be quite interesting. And then, of course, we have our simple take following that, JJ, of course, and we'll figure that out. And then, of course, we get a bit of time to breathe as we see how the draft plays out and shapes out its first week. And then we go batshit crazy in one weekend, as we have, of course, later on, Impact Wrestling Under Siege and WWE's Night of Champions and AEW Double or Nothing in the same weekend span. And it will all be covered here, too. And that's just a brief summary of what's to come in May as far as the biggest things as well. But as always, let me conclude, there are no winners, no losers, no betters, just fans with opinions, with this passion we all share. So at the end of the day, folks, support one another and respect each other. Protect your mentality, too. Treasure your families. And just enjoy life and enjoy professional wrestling. And in the late great words of Jerry Springer, one last time, take care of yourselves and each other.
Yes, exactly. Jay, I'm not going to be able to do the video because I just so much going on, but I did want to acknowledge, and we will try to acknowledge Jerry more in the coming weeks, but Jerry Springer, again, for all the connotations that name brings up in everybody's mind, at the end of the day, he encouraged all of us to take care of ourselves and to take care of each other, and that's what this man tries to do every single time he's on camera with us. So, like you said, Noah, one last time on social media, Jerry. That guy was a pioneer that Granted, his show wouldn't fly now.
Oh no.
But, it made for a hell of an afternoon shenanigans after school when you get home and go, oh, shouldn't be having watching this. And mom coming, so
I'm just in the waiting room, just waiting to be called into my doctor or dentist. Next thing I see Jerry Springer and I see this and like, what's that woman doing?
It's like you watch, you go, I feel like I should be watching this under anesthesia because I feel violated now. I'm kind of off about this. I don't know what to do.
Right?
And whether we want to admit it or acknowledge it or not, a lot of WWF's attitude would not have existed without things like the Jerry Springer show.
Absolutely not.
That's the freaking truth.
Because you know they were watching that on their off days, bro, and taking material, bro, and putting it on the shows on Mondays and Thursdays until he crapped out, bro. So there was that.
Right, exactly.
You're very welcome, Matt. Thank you for being along for the ride.
Yeah, it's one of those. I appreciate the desire, the need to reach out, and that was a sticky situation. But I've been told the boss has handled what you asked prior to even you bringing that situation up. So hopefully we will spear forward, going forward without any more bullshit over on the main site. So
there you go.
There we go. So for the man whose name is on the building, even though you can't see it, the West Coast Professor Jeff Meacham. For the simple man with the spectacular voice, Noah Foster, I am the Renegade of Wrestling, JJ Williams. Thank you for joining us for our continuation of the WWE Night 1 draft coverage. And until open mic night later on this evening, we will catch you guys later.
Have a good day, folks.